have you started looking into your Hydra as a boss yet much, or not too much yet? Like the mechanics of everything? Not much yet?
No.
No. Well, you're going to have some homework.
Okay. I could do that.
I have a lot of guides on Hell Hades' website if you prefer articles over videos too, but you definitely want to take the time to understand each head and what they do. So like and what you need to counteract them. So maybe let's see. Go over to the Hydra section and let's take a look over there, and I'll go through the basics of what we're going to need to counteract the heads, and we'll talk about the starting rotation.
Oh my.
Hydra's a lot. Yeah, and honestly, it took me probably, oh god, I don't even know, what, 6 months of this being out before I liked it. Everyone hates it. And until you get a team built and characters built specifically for Hydra, everyone hates it. Yeah. So click on the battle. We won't actually do one, but click anywhere on the battle. Just so we could see the heads. All right, so the first head there is Head of Decay. That one is the cleansing head. But what they added to this game before, which they didn't do originally, is you can provoke the Head of Decay. So a provoker is like necessary. And then unless, I mean, lower levels you can get away without it. But taunting gear is now very valuable because of that as well. So putting an AoE champion like Nekmothar, and then having people like Krisk around, and there's so many great provokers though, are really, really helpful. So you can, what the Head of Decay does if you don't have him provoked is he uses his other skills. So you can prevent him from using his other skills, and he cleanses all the heads of all the debuffs. So like you take the time, you put all your debuffs down, and he just strips them all off. And then his third A3 is he'll take he'll cleanse one head specifically of the 4 that are up, and he will put life barrier on them, which is like a shield. And if you don't knock down that shield before the timer ticks, the head fully heals again.
Oh gosh.
The biggest thing is, yeah, the first one here, the Head of Decay, the spirit one.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
Yeah, the first one there. I'll put my mouse on him. But yeah, that's the Head of Decay. And I mean, it's really, really annoying. It's not fun, that's for sure. And then we have the Head of Mischief here as well. So Mischief, we talk about Mischief Targeting. That's in the starting rotation too, because what the Head of Mischief does is every time he goes as A1, he tries to steal your buffs. And then as A2 is he spreads the buffs. So you have to have high enough resistance to resist the buff steal and the turn meter. There's some turn meter manipulation there that goes on too. So you always, ideally, you want one person that's always going to have more buffs than everybody else.
Okay.
So there's certain characters that self-buff that make themselves very good mischief targets because they put buffs on themselves. As simple as that. I use Skullord Vargal, for example, because he puts a strength buff on himself. And he also provokes the Head of Decay, so he can do 2 jobs at once. He's a perfect example for that. Same thing with Bivald, one of the new characters. He can do that.
So Hydra came out probably, I would say, like a month or so before I stopped playing, I think. Okay. Around then. But then that's when I got into Ace, and the more I played Ace, I just it wasn't necessarily a conscious choice to stop playing. I just really stopped. Yeah, I got really into Ace and just slowly just never loaded it back up.
Yeah.
But I do remember. Where's he at? This guy here was used a lot.
Yeah, for the next head. Yep, the Head of Torment.
For this one?
Yep, the blue one. This Head of Torment.
The blue one, okay.
With Mischief, so Mischief steals buffs, but it's always from whoever has the most buffs up at one time. That's why you want one person that's always going to have more buffs than everybody else. So, but that could also be avoided by having block buffs as a debuff. So characters like Ugo are top. I have 3 Ugos fully maxed out, no regrets. Use all 3 of them. And there's other champions that work okay for it, but Ugo's probably the best because she does a lot of other good jobs too.
Okay.
And then you're talking about Head of Torment. That's where Shamel comes in because he prevents those fears from happening. So every time the Head of Torment tries to fear you, he prevents that. And if you're not under perfect veil, the Head of Torment will try to put a fear on you. So you can prevent the fears from going on by using Duchess, Truoth, Tatura, or you can have Inquisitor Shamel and just not let it happen in the first place.
Rector Drath. That's why it was built. That's why I had
her as well. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I had a second one. I couldn't remember. I was like, why? Because when I came back, I was like, why do I have another Rector Drath that's like almost built?
Would have used,
I was like, why did I do that? I think it was for Hydra.
I would say that, I guess, Duchess, Rector, Shamel are probably the 3 most common used when the Head of Torment's around. And when it comes to Nightmare Hydra, you kind of want to be able to deal with everything, but the earlier stages, you can get away with just hoping the other heads don't come out, I guess, more so.
Okay.
But, yeah, you really want...
I have 2 Duchess and 2 Rector Draths, so I think
so if you have 2 Duchess and a Shamel, you don't need Rector. I use Duchess in my arena build, completely fine, no changes. And Nightmare Hydra. Alright, so yeah, with the Head of Torment, the other way, I mean, if you have Duchess and you have 2 Duchess, you're fine. 2 Duchess and a Chamois, that's really all you need. But you could also just have a cleanser in there to deal with the fears after they happen kind of thing too, like 2 Hanorok or Doom Priest or even Siffy's passive, Ugo, Cardial. Like there's a lot of people that kind of can prevent that or deal with it after. But you should be fine with Duchess. Honestly, I probably would use Duchess more so than Shamel because it's hard to use Shamel unless you have the perfect things line up. Because like you don't want to put a champion with block debuffs in there with Shamel because you want the debuffs to land from all the other heads too. So he does his like attacks every time.
I'm laughing at that comment. Everyone I know cleaned their 401ks to play Raid.
It's true, right, Hootie? I know.
I love that. That's so funny.
It's so true.
It's true, though.
It's very
It only
true.
took like 3 months into playing this game for me to literally have already spent like thousands of dollars. Unfortunately. I hate to admit that, but it happened.
Yeah, I know how that goes. I used to buy Voids. That was like the one thing I would always buy, but I never bought more. I think I never spent more than 200, 300 in a month ever, luckily. But I wouldn't do that all the time. That was rare. That was like once in a while. But it paid off every time. Every time it paid off.
Well, okay, so Raid was actually my first real like gotcha game like this style. You know, so I was like very they really got me, you know.
Me too. This was my very first gotcha game. I'd never played anything like this either.
No, I spent a ton of money. It's totally insane. It's a little gross.
It's fine. All right, well, let's see here. All right, so Head of Wrath is the hard-hitting one. You might remember if you played it a little before you left. There was one head that if it came out, it just wiped the whole team, and you're like, fuck, what's happening? The Head of Wrath hits really, really hard. Every time you hit him, it racks up like a counter. Then when it hits a certain point, it smashes really, really hard.
The Head of Wrath, is that this one?
Yeah, the red one next to it. Yep.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one, it's best to just have protection for it. Luckily, Duchess has damage mitigation. Using Perfect Veil is more damage mitigation. And having someone that does like a decrease attack.
Do you build her with like a stalwart or
No, her passive has damage mitigation. Remember, like her as a passive.
But I didn't
Duchess,
know if maybe like adding it on as well.
No, that wouldn't really matter. That would only protect her anyway.
That's true, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but there's different, like the best ways are just using people like that. Decrease attack being placed on the Head of Wrath is really important. It makes his damage go down dramatically. And also he puts up an increased attack buff, so you have to make sure that doesn't happen or that you can steal it. The best thing to do is just have block buffs solidly in every team, because if you can keep block buffs on him and on everyone, then you don't have to worry about him placing that in the first place. So block buffs has become one of the most valuable debuffs in Hydra. And the good part is the other two heads, the Head of Suffering and the Head of Blight, if you have block buffs in your team, they don't matter. They don't even matter. So you can kind of kill 3-4 birds with one stone if you have block buffs in your team. And if you have block buffs in your team solidly enough that it stays up 100% of the time, you don't even need a Mischief target, because the Head of Mischief can't steal your buffs from your champion with the highest amount of buffs if they have block buffs up.
Okay.
So that's another...
It's been so long that, and I have so many heroes that
yeah,
I'm
remembering who does what.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go back to your heroes now.
Okay.
So you said you just built a Geomancer, right? You'll notice Geomancer is a trend.
I did.
You probably want 2 or 3 of them around. I actually built mine specifically for the Iron Twins, which I do have my most reliable Iron Twins team. I could show you a video on that. I know that's another thing it's new for you.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. I had to message you the other day, and I was like, "What are those red?
What are those
like red stars?" I was like, "What?"
There's so much new happening already. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, Geomancer has that passive, that reflex damage back onto any head that he placed HP burn on. So if you have HP burn on all the other heads and Head of Wrath smashes you, it actually just causes a ton of damage. So when the Head of Wrath is out, if you have Geomancer on your team, that's a good thing. You want the Head of Wrath to be out as much as possible.
Would Cecia also be pretty good in Hydra as well?
She is pretty good, yes, with the HP. So, okay, when it comes to the Head of Blight, the one that's not in the starting rotation, HP burn can also, if you don't have block buffs and it places that poison cloud thing, you're forced to do weak hits unless they have an HP burn on.
Okay.
So having HP burn around is very good. Cecia is definitely a big part of some high-end comps I've seen. Geomancer is great as well, especially... Geomancer is probably better with the sake of Head of Wrath being in the starting rotation, though. Because the passive and how much damage that can pop out. And you need him to place HP burn on like all the other heads. You actually want to keep the Head of Wrath alive. Hey, Trigger Happy John.
Oh, John's here?
That's his walk-on.
Hi, John.
I don't know if you heard that. Oh, no, probably not. It was, wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud. Oh man.
Way to make it weird, John. Just saying.
Yeah, with it, when it comes to Geomancer, you don't want to put other people with HP burn in the same team. Or ideally, you don't want to use a debuff spreader like Hanorok in the same team, because it only counts, like what DeGreer said, the reflect damage only counts if he placed the HP burn. So you need to make sure he's the only one placing the HP burn, which is a single target, but he comes back to it enough that it's pretty easy to just keep that on all the heads. Mordecai is also a champion I see you have there. That one, he can be used a lot with the poison clouds, because he places HP burn not as a hit. So even if the poison clouds have come out from the Head of Blight, he can land the HP burn anyway, which Cecia cannot do.
Do you see a Geomancer?
I thought you said you built him up. Maybe he's still not fully leveled?
I actually... It wasn't that. It was Ragnar.
Oh, Ragnar's who I use for my Bat Eater Clan Boss team.
That's why I built him. I'm gonna change my team. Oops.
Oh no, do you not have a Geomancer?
I don't know. Let me look.
Check your index for dwarves. Yeah.
I don't want anything, Raid, okay?
We're not buying stuff. Go away. Yeah, Tunisia actually sounds like... No, Geomancer. Okay, he should be one of your most wanted champions, period. Now, who cares, legendary, whatever. He should be on the list, because he's so good for the Iron Twins, and he's so good for Hydra.
Okay.
Did you have a Tunisia as well, or no? The Fox?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. Void Fox, no. Okay.
I don't think so.
I mean, Cecia is awesome. As long as you have block buffs going on, you'll be able to use Cecia just fine anyway. And then, yeah, Sisia Ninja is really good for the lower levels especially. He pumps out a ton of damage and throws some burns around too. But Sisia is... which you could definitely use her. I would say... So you have Solus, who me and Odd One both use in our Nightmare Hydra teams. That's going to be, I think, Solus and Ugo. You have an Ugo there, I saw, right?
I'm pretty sure I do have Ugo.
I remember seeing one Ugo. Definitely worth saving multiple copies of her. The Ogren tribe. She's magic.
Yeah, I think I do have a couple of her.
She's solid. And if you pair her with Solus, he's a debuff extender on his A3, so he can help keep up the decreased defense and the block buffs the entire time very easily. It's a really great combo. Yep, there's Ugo. So I would build Ugo and Solus if... Okay, this is the funny part.
I'm gonna take notes, actually. Not gonna lie. I got my...
It's okay.
I always write everything down.
I'll make a YouTube video out of it. You could watch it again.
Perfect. Perfect.
So, yeah, I would say Solus and Ugo. It wouldn't hurt. I mean, I don't know if you really need Sisia, but she can. Yeah, Sisia could certainly work there as well, especially with not having Geomancer, and she actually hits really hard. But Solus and Ugo, I would both put in reflex gear if you have it. We're going back to Ice Golem. That's what we've learned. Ice Golem taunting gear and reflex gear are super valuable for Hydra. So back to farming Ice Golem. There. Oh. Do you have Relentless gear?
Let's see. I don't even remember where everything is.
Relentless is only from farming tournaments, so you're gonna have to start winning some tournaments.
Oh, no. Oh, that's where you get an extra turn, right?
Yeah.
The chance of an extra turn. Yeah, I've a decent amount.
Okay, yeah, that's probably what you'll want to do then. Relentless gear, and then if you have refresh accessories.
Refresh accessories.
Yeah, Solus also self-buffs to Greer, so Solus can be the target as well. Just not when paired with Duchess, unfortunately, because she puts random shields, so... But you don't need a Mischief target at all in the team I'm talking. If you pair Ugo and Solus, you don't need a Mischief target. There's no need for one. That's what's so great.
Yeah, I
don't have a Mischief target in my Nightmare team anymore.
I have quite a bit of, gear and whatnot.
Yeah. The refresh accessories that you get from the bazaar, it's the bazaar, right? Yeah, or the clan, yeah, bazaar, not the clan shop. I'm trying to think which one's which. Those are really, really good. Okay. Because just anything that's a chance to come back to this cooldowns, like to reduce the cooldown of a skill and come back to those big hitters again, is really helpful in Hydra. And then, same thing with Mastery. Cycle of Magic is now very... highly used, where it's not as important in other PvE content, but with Mastery, Cycle of Magic on the support tree is actually, like, my Ugo is always built that way, and pretty much everyone is Cycle of Magic now that I have to use the support tree for. But, I mean, you have so many great champions, you're gonna have an easy time figuring out, like, getting the right combinations will be something you have to play with too. It's going to be experimenting and finding the right synergies. Like, you're going to be like, oh, I don't have enough provoking happening, or okay, I need to make this person faster. But I think the best thing... So we have Solus and Ugo. You don't even need a Mischief target because you can keep up the block buffs easily, so you don't have to worry about the things getting stolen. But Solus will have to be pretty fast. You're going to want him to be able to come back to those skills often.
I wonder if I have another one involved.
Oh yeah, who do you have? Oh, another Ugo? Do you have another Ugo? Oh, you have a Kantra. Okay, Kantra's awesome for Hydra.
Okay.
Do you have anyone that do we have a decreased speed and... Oh yeah, you don't have any of the AoE decreased speed or increased speed on the same champion people, do ya? Oh. Like, that's where Nekmothar is so good. He does those in both. Do you have a Lady Kimmy? Or a Krisk? You didn't have Krisk, did you?
Oh, I have two Krisk.
Oh, you do? I didn't even notice your Krisk. Oh, never mind. You can probably auto Hydra.
Do I have Lady Kimmy?
Where's your Krisk?
Here. I have two.
Krisk.
Oh, I'm thinking of Sir Nick. I'm thinking of, good God. No, I don't have Krisk. Oh my gosh.
Hey, it's okay. It's been, I would be the same way.
You're saying Krisk, and I'm thinking like Kris Kringle. You know?
That's fun. Chris,
know.
like, oh God, that's really
like,
funny. No, Krisk.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just dumb.
The turtle. It's fine. You're allowed to be a little rusty. A 300-day break, I think I'd be a little rusty too.
No, I really wanted Chris because you can build some amazing clan boss teams with him.
Yes.
And I really love building teams for clan boss. So I definitely have wanted him for a long time. Unfortunately, don't have him.
Yeah. That's all right. You can make it work with other people. Let's see. Who do we have? Do we have any? Okay, you have Lady Kimmy. So, Lady Kimmy, and you could probably do my exact team, just Cyssia instead of Geomancer. So, yeah, Solus, Duchess, Solus, Ugo, Lady Kimmy, Cyssia, and then a Royal Guard. And that's all you need. You're done. That's it. For Nightmare Hydra. Then it's just a matter of getting the stats.
Dang, okay.
And that would be really, really fun. The only difference is building Cyssia for regular spiders different than building for Hydra because the speeds requirements are really high. But
in Hydra?
Yeah. But it doesn't mean you couldn't make it work for the sake of a spider team as well. I have 2 Cyssias. I keep meaning to build the other one for Hydra and one for Spider. That's really great.
There's not gear saving sets in Raid, right?
No.
I didn't think so. Okay.
That's the sad part.
Sorry.
I know Awakened Chaos Era kind of flopped, but it does so many things that Raid does not do. Like, it came out with Real-Time Arena. It came out with gear set presets. It came out with so many things that were like, we want in Raid. And it still is flopping. I don't understand why it's flopping, honestly. That might be another conversation. But I just couldn't play Raid and both. I can't play both games. That's my reason.
I would love to get into that conversation.
Okay, we'll get there later.
I just made like a raging video about the new Magic Pass on Ace. I was not happy.
Oh no.
It's spicy. It's a little spicy, I won't lie.
Yeah, guys, make sure you're following her on YouTube. She has 3 YouTubes, right? She has separate ones for her different games she plays mainly, and then also, of course, on Twitch. So I'm going to give a shout out here live on Twitch again, in case anyone's just joining us.
Yeah, we did a collab on Eternal Evolution together, and that was a lot of fun. I love that
game. It's so good. I can't wait for it to go global.
I really do too.
We found out the date. It's sooner than I expected. I'm excited.
I didn't look, actually. I should look. Did they announce it in the Discord?
No, they DM'd me.
Oh, I didn't get DM'd.
I'll tell you later.
Good. Okay, good.
All right. Let's see. So, back to Raid. Brutal, I would say Inquisitor Shamel and Coronar are going to be really great together.
Nightmare or Brutal? Sorry.
The first one, Nightmare. And then Brutal's the next lowest difficulty. You definitely can do it. It's just going to be a matter of gear. And that might be something you can't do instantly because it's a lot of demand. It's a lot of... I mean, your champions need books, masteries, and really good gear. Which I'm sure you have plenty of gear. You're level 100, you played a while. I'm sure your gear's fine. You just might have to start keeping in mind some different things like taunting gear and...
Most of my heroes are really booked. A lot of them.
Coronar already in a taunting set? That's what a lot of people did. Okay, no, so Uyam is stun Coronar. Okay, that's technically better for Arena anyway. But taunting Coronar...
I don't even know what I...
Yeah, he's really good to put in a... He does provoke on his A2, but he also has an AoE A1, plus he has some extra counterattacking that happens. So he's really good to put in a taunting set. If you put him in a taunting set, and hell, even if you could have him as the lead, even though there's no aura to benefit from, it might be worth it to try. He could be boosted by Shamel. You know how? Do you remember in Hydra, everyone using Shamel? Whoever was in the lead spot, it would make them be boosted turn meter because of Shamel's like skill there. It wasn't intended to be that way. So he like boosts, he's supposed to boost whoever he prevents the debuffs from landing on, but instead he only boosts the leader. So whoever you put in the lead with Inquisitor Shamel gets crazy amount of boosting. Like, they just go so freaking often, it's nuts. So having someone with an AoE A1 with War Master masteries on them that can just land a ton of damage through War Master procs, and especially if they're in a taunting set, you're gonna have no trouble keeping the provoke on the Head of Decay. Although if you didn't want to put, you wouldn't need to put him in the lead spot if we maybe brought in a Cantra on that team, which might be really useful actually. That's another possibility. So there's a lot of, you have a lot of fun champions.
I'm literally taking notes.
So Lydia goes really well with Shamel too. So Lydia, let's see, we have Shamel, Coronar, Lydia. There's 3 core people right there that you're really gonna want.
Coronar, Lydia, and who was the other one, sorry?
Shamel, you could certainly use him because of being in the starting rotations are really good. You're off to a good start with that, you know? That could be something fun. I mean, you could also use Duchess instead, though, but I think this team could be really fun because having AoE people plus Lydia with Shamel is going to be so much damage. Mashaled is actually, that's another one. Mashaled is another really great shout there.
Oh, you can use him in the...
In Hydra with that team for sure, yes.
Okay.
He does great damage. You can build him for damage in a Savage set's awesome. Or the new sets like Lethal with the new Dark Fae and the Doom Tower bosses and stuff. Yeah, he's really good. And that covers a lot of the speed bases there as well.
Wasn't this hero specifically made for Hydra? Or it came out to help promote Hydra?
He has perfect
remember.
Veil, that's why. Because he's another perfect Veil champion. And he does bring increased defense and block debuffs, but Duchess is just going to be better, so... But I wouldn't put Duchess on this team because you don't want to put Duchess with Shamel. So I would say put Godseeker and Neri that you guys see down there that you have built, or Ursula the Mourner as well. Either one of them could be great for this team. These could be your people to try to focus on for sake of... Yeah, and then the only hard part is block buffs now, so we need someone. We need another Ugo. Do you have another Ugo in your vault?
I wonder, let me look.
Godseeker would be... I think Godseeker is probably a little bit better in this situation, because Lydia's already going to bring a strengthen buff to the team. And then that would be... I mean, that was so... This is interesting. This would be... Lydia does bring blocked buffs on a single target A1. So... If the Head of Blight's not coming out too often, you might be okay. So the last person you bring in could be an HP burner. But we really want more damage. Like, we're missing a... I mean, Shamel built for damage will be okay. He'll be decent. But this team might struggle. I mean, to be fair, I guess if you build Coronar and Mashaled with good damage. Do you have another Lady Kimmy?
No, I only have one,
oh,
unfortunately. Yeah. But
Lady Kimmy does place block buffs, but that's only if she takes a buff off someone first. So she's conditional, so that kind of sucks.
Is Cantra any good?
Cantra's awesome, yeah. Because she does, she places block. She places like a million debuffs. I was thinking Cantra for your other key, but you do have 2 Cantras. I saw that, yeah. So you could always use another Cantra. But you wouldn't need Cantra with Coronar. Coronar does it. Coronar with Shamel. I mean, well, to be fair, you wouldn't have Coronar being in... let's see. Yeah, you have 2 Cantras, so you could use one for... Yeah, Cantra. I think the only thing would be a little bit hard... Although that's no HP burn, though. We really need... I guess you could test it. You could see if Cantra's random buffing... if it's enough to keep up some block buffs as well. Because, you know, she puts up all these random debuffs, but it's not all of them, you know, it's kind of random. She's actually someone who's really good to put in the lead, because if Shamel's boosting her turn meter constantly, she's gonna be keeping the Head of Decay provoked with her passive, and placing all those debuffs more often. So to be fair, if you want to use Kantra, actually, we could use Kantra instead of Coronar, and then maybe bring in a bigger hitter like Royal Guard or Husk. That might be a better way to go about it.
I have a few Royal Guards built out.
I saw you had some Husks. Yeah, at least one, maybe two. You don't need an HP burner, not if block buffs can stay up the whole time. You don't need a burner. Burner's only for sake of dealing with the... and in lower levels, the burning does more of an impact. So HP burn is capped in Hydra. It does the same amount of damage no matter what level it is. So it's better at lower levels because the higher damage, just like enemy max HP champions, are going to do more. Yeah, I think if you'd use Kantra instead of Coronar, and then bring Husk in there, that might be solid because Husk has his A1 with Provoke, and that could be a backup Provoke for Kantra if there's not enough buffs. So the thing with Kantra, or debuffs, the Head of Decay has to always have 5 or more debuffs on him, or else she won't place that Provoke. But if you use her in the lead position, she brings an accuracy aura, so you don't have to build everyone with as high of accuracy requirements. That makes it really nice to build your champions a little bit lower. She handles that, and she's gonna place her debuffs so often that she's probably gonna keep up all those debuffs pretty consistently because she's gonna go so much. Like, it's really, really helpful. Kantra lead with Shimel boosting her. Then we have Lydia with decreased defense and weaken, plus she places block buffs on her A3. That's going to be really helpful to place it where you want it. And she's void, so you don't have to worry about affinity. Godseeker as your reviver. Okay. Yeah, that's what Dagur said. If you put block buffs or block debuffs, buffs on your team too, you got to be really careful because if that gets stolen, if you don't have block buffs on someone, and the Head of Mischief steals your block debuffs, and then he spreads block debuffs to everybody, then it's like you can't place anything and you're screwed unless you could strip the buffs. That's how people kind of were early on. We were just kind of lazy and we would just throw Seers and Madame Ceres in there and just take off the buffs and let it be messy and sloppy, you know? I was so bad with that. I was so guilty, and that's when I hated Hydra. When I let things be random, I just let my buffs get stolen. But, you know, with more practice, more understanding, we're all getting better. We're all getting better, slowly but surely.
See, I didn't even know what it drops. What are these? Mortal Soul Stones?
That's for the Awakening.
Oh, okay,
oh yeah, do you have Venus and Cupidus as well? That could be your easy next key.
I don't. I wish I had Venus.
I don't have Venus either. Her.
Yeah.
Darn it.
Yeah, I know for sure I don't have her because I have her on another account, but I really want her on my main account.
Well, the luckiest thing is we're left with only hard, which is not that hard for your account.
Oh, is this here a pretty good thing? The one you get shards for?
Oh, she's amazing. She's a cleanser. And she places Strengthen and Shield on everybody. She also places Hex, which is really helpful in Hydra and other content as well. And then she places Poisons on her A1. She's great. She's really great in Arena because her passive converts your accuracy to resistance.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you just build her with a ton of accuracy and that gets converted to resistance. So it makes her really good for Arena. She's an Arena monster as your for like a go second team where you just take all the debuffs and she has high resist and cleanses them. She's amazing for that.
Okay.
So you definitely want to do everything. And I think you definitely have the account to do all the 3 top keys. That's no problem there. It's just going to be a matter of taking the time to gear them to hit the requirements. Is the hard part. And then the third key will be really easy for you. I mean, do you have like Trunda too? Or no?
Do I have? No, I don't have Trunda.
Okay, so she's like a cheat code for just smacking.
She's nasty, yeah.
Yeah,
she's nasty.
But you could just use like Ninja and the same, you could probably use your Umbral in there, just turn off her A3 and then that could be a team where you put Brogni in there or just some protection. It's kind of like that could be where you experiment a little bit more and just use your less leftover people like Drexthar with HP burn and provoking and I know you have Cupidus. He actually hits really hard too. Cupidus and Ninja both could probably do good damage. Royal Guards and Husks having multiples of those to use for the keys is helpful too, so you could certainly use one of them. Oh, you have 3 Royal Guards.
You can only use a hero 1 time per key, right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's you could. Yep, exactly.
I forgot about that. Okay, I forgot about that.
So like that's why I'm not suggesting the same people, or you just would use the same people from Nightmare on every key, you know?
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I forgot. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you build an easy Mischief target for sake of hard, which isn't as hard because the requirements are a little less, you could use someone like a Boro there, right next to Gembo that you clicked on, a Boro. She's insane as a Mischief target, and she's really easy to build, and she hits really hard. But her A3, she puts up a whole bunch of buffs on herself, so she's constantly going to, she'll be easy to always be the target, because she's always going to be putting those buffs up. And she has the passive with Revive on Death, so she'd be easy to build. Throw her in there with another Shamel or Ninja.
Well, I'm glad I just six-starred her during this event too.
Your second Duchess, there you go. Your second Duchess will make that easy. Second Duchess, Oboro, Ninja, Mordecai if you need more burning. If you don't want to use Umbral for block buffs. But you're just gonna have to remember with some of if you want to try it on full auto for hard, which once you build them, you'll probably be able to do hard full auto a lot of times. Someone like Umbral, that A3 locks everything out, so you actually don't want her to use her provoke because she locks out her other skills. But that's why Ugo's so amazing. Ugo is just so good to have multiple of because she just does everything. But also even Deliana. Deliana's a good shout too. She was the login champion, or did you miss her?
I don't think I have her, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been when you missed her. But you have Ninja, right? You were here for Ninja? Or no?
Yeah, I have Ninja.
Okay, I was like, wait, you have Ninja. I thought I saw him. Yes, okay.
They're actually... I think there was once when they announced there was like hero coming out. So I logged in just to get the hero.
Yeah.
And didn't play.
That's fair. Oh yeah, you have a Baron. Is that up there, Baron? Baron just got a major buff. In some aspects. A nerf for people that care about Doom Tower doing things with low turns. But Baron at a hard... DeGreer mentioned Baron. He might be really, really interesting to smack when the
Baron.
When the heads get decapitated, he might do insane damage. Because his A1 is really quirky. And he just got a whole bunch of...
I use him in Arena right now as...
Oh good, yeah, he's great in Arena now. Yep. So you know how the buff, yep. He's great in Arena now. So he would probably take the place of where I would use Trunda as just a smash, smash, smash. He could be really good for that. But kind of, I mean, your hard key is just going to be like people with the same ideas in mind, just it's going to be easier. It's going to be a lot easier. I've even used Arbiter in hard a lot, honestly. But you have a Duchess. With the Head of Torment starting in the rotation, you'll want to use Duchess instead of Arbiter. But if there's no Head of Torment, you probably just want to use Arbiter. She boosts everyone's turn meter, and there's like a lot more. In hard, it's gonna be super easy for your account. But when it comes to this, I would just start with the Nightmare people and like kind of just work on them. And then if you haven't got the mechanics down of getting used to what to do when, then play around with the lower levels. But try to build people to the level of hards or of Nightmares, so you're not, you're working at the hardest level for your goal, because you have the account for it, you might as well. And honestly, when it comes to building everybody and the speeds and the requirements, it's really just reference the Hell Hades stages tool. Oh wait, which I have a... Hold on, this link right here, the enemy tool right there, save that. Go look up the champ. You can look up exactly like how fast the boss is and know what you're gonna need for everything, so that will make it easier.
Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun, and even if I can't pull my own shards, it was nice being able to pull some shards. And that double Lego pull, that was perfect.
And do you still want me to join your stream for talking the rest of the things you might have missed while you're away at some point? Do you want to do that next week still? Okay.
Yeah,
I know you probably have been catching up in general, but could just still be a fun chat, and I could cross-promote, of course.
Well, like I said before, like when we did our collab for Eternal Evolution, you honestly don't know what you don't know until somebody tells you, right? So
Yeah.
it'd be good to just, you know, I'm sure you'll point something out that I don't know. It's been a long time.
Okay, sounds like fun.